Okay, here we are back with the third video for today, that is 28th of May. So his body has been removed and he has been put into another coffin with sand at the bottom and reassembled the parts which have been chopped earlier to remove it, and they have been put with uh, they concealed all that with the padding that was put to bring the body into one piece as it was originally. Archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades. So, since 1922, archaeology has changed a lot because science and archaeology have come together. There are many ways, computer science, forensic science, all these have come together to explain and help with the working of archaeology, focusing less on treasure and more on the fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. So, today, archaeology is to find the link between the past and the present. Earlier, archaeology was just to find treasure, just to find artifacts and become famous. There is a series of beautiful movies, Indiana Jones, and it has Harrison Ford in it. I think there are 3 movies or 4 movies, and Indiana Jones is a historian and an archaeologist. So he goes all over the world to find special artifacts, and you can watch these movies. They would explain the difference between an archaeologist and a treasure hunter. So earlier, archaeology was all about treasure. Now it is all about studies and linkage and finding how the previous civilizations existed and how they managed to do all those things that they did. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. So all these things are coupled together to give you a link between the past and the present. It uses sophisticated tools and medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact. Startling is surprising. And what was the fact? Beneath the raisin that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing. He doesn't have the breastbone and he doesn't have the front ribs. They are not there. Earlier they couldn't come to know, but the x-ray showed it. Today, diagnostic imaging can be done with computed tomography or CT. That is the CT scan that we also know about in the hospitals, by which hundreds of x-rays in cross-section are put together like slices of bread to create a 3-dimensional virtual body. So this is what they're talking about, that he has been put under a CT scan to create a 3-dimensional body on the computer. What more would a CT scan reveal of Tut than the X-ray? And could it answer 2 of the biggest questions still lingering about him? How did he die? One question. And how old was he at the time of his death? These were 2 things which they really wanted to know about, and maybe the CT scan could help. King Tut's demise was a big event, even by royal standards. He was the last of his family's line, and his funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty. Since he was the last male heir of that dynasty, so there were no other males to take over the family. And that is why his funeral was of major consequence at that time, and it is so important to us as well. But the particulars of his passing away and its aftermath are unclear. But we still don't know with absolute clarity what happened and what happened after he died. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, we are not very clear, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. His son, Amenhotep IV, succeeded him and initiated one of the strangest periods of history that we know about in ancient Egypt. So if you remember the video that I posted for you to see how his father had changed the entire system, and even he had changed the capital from Thebes to some other place. So this is what they're talking about. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten, or servant of Aten. and moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Akhetaten. He named it after himself, known now as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, which he didn't agree with. All this we have covered in that video. That is why I showed that video to you people, because it was important. It links the story for you. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. So he went after Amun with a vengeance, and he just finished everything which was connected with Amun. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago's Research Center in Luxor. Remember, in the PPT I have shown you the temple in Luxor, so he's talking about that. The site of ancient Thebes. The family had ruled for centuries, was coming to an end, and then Akhenaten went a little wacky, he went a little crazy. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Smenkhare appeared briefly and exited with hardly a trace. He just came and he went off. We don't have too much knowledge about him. And then a very young Tutankhamun took the throne. King Tut, as he is widely known today, so he ascends the throne. The king boy soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, the living image of Amun. So he went back to the original and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. He reigned for about 9 years only and then died unexpectedly. Now we don't know how he died. So he just was on the throne for 9 years, and can you imagine the amount of work he did in those 9 years? Colossal. He changed the entire system back to what it had been earlier, and he brought back all the old things that his father or his grandfather had ignored. Since we don't know for certain who had done it, so that is why we don't know whether it was a grandfather or his father. I'll finish today's lesson here, and of course we'll have the written work to continue with. I'll be giving you a few of the questions which are addressed here today and in the portion that we have covered. I want you to underline and remember all the names of the Egyptian pharaohs, because sometimes they do tend to ask. It happens. So I hope you have a lovely day and you enjoyed the lesson. See you again tomorrow. Good afternoon.